All right, you lot, don't forget to give us a follow on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And while you're at it, give us a 5-star rating. Trust me, it really does help us out.
It's a really sad state of affairs, you know. And just as an accountant, if I put my accounting cap on a second, to speak to the whole accounting circumstance. Accounting, if you want to make it like that, can be a very dark art. You can categorize anything any which way, right? CapEx, OpEx, like there's loads of different, I know I'm talking, you know what's going on.
You know what it is? Yeah. This is actually such an easy thing to get away with, because an accountant could just say the maddest stuff to me and I'll be like, yeah,
you know,
you know what you're doing.
I'll give you a good example, right? This is, so we talk, the miscategorization thing is important, because you can say, as an example,
I spent money here.
Bang. So Hayden's working for us and he's working on the powertrain. But in the accounts, I'm going to say that Hayden's been seconded to HR and has nothing. His hands do not touch anything to do with F1 or our car. What forensic accountant can go in and disprove that? Yeah. It's nigh on impossible. And again, this speaks to the rules and the regs, right? Like how do you enforce that? Like it's just really, really tough. And then to the accounting thing, if I give you another example, OpEx and CapEx, your P&L, the thing that they'll be reviewing at the CCA, whatever, the cost cap adjudication board in the week, they'll be looking at the P&L, right? That's the money that you've earned and the money that you spent in basic terms. There's a balance sheet over here where your assets sit. And accountants, I shouldn't even talk about this because it is very dark.
We want more details.
There is a process called capitalizing, and you're only meant to be you should have a capitalization policy. Chunky money, if it's like a big computer or like a piece of tech, you might be able to capitalize it. So when you capitalize it, you basically take it off the P&L that the auditors and the forensic accountants will be reviewing, and it goes onto your balance sheet and it kind of drip feeds back across. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I've done so I understand.
So you're basically shifting money from your P&L. It makes it look like you spent less, kind of. It's a bit more techie than this, but it makes it look like you spent less than you have. The policies around CapEx mate, anything like it could, company by company is going to be different. Again, massive grey area. So it's just policing this stuff is just like alchemy. How do you do? I just don't know how they're going to do it.
There's a CFO watching this somewhere, probably making notes, thinking, you know what? Why didn't we think?
Hang on, the guy Williams is like, hold on a second.
You're going to be knocked on your door, mate, thinking, we need you to
listen to me. There's not a CFO in the land that won't know about what I've. They'll all be leveraging it. And Red Bull apparently similar situation. I'm convinced, but proving that they haven't been doing that is going to be a
5 million is quite a lot though. So what sort of things like dark arts could they even do to try and in
a company that's probably shifting around hundreds of millions?
Yeah, true.
That's a brilliant example. If Hayden doesn't touch this, Hayden doesn't touch the car.
Yeah,
he's seconded out to HR or fine or wherever, right?
This is prove it. You know what? I'm gonna dumb this right down for you, mate. Right? This is the equivalent for all footballers of. All right, Chris, you're gonna be playing as Stephen today, mate. You're not on the books. It's the exact same situation.
Kind of.
It's you're putting in a player that is not registered, but you're using someone else.
But that's disprovable, though. Like the Hayden thing is perfect.
I've dumbed it down massively.
You've never come to our factory. Prove to me that Hayden has been doing work on the car and not been in Hayden.
This is where
is fully.
This is where they come out and be like, Hayden was our spy that we sent in.
Shit.
It's hard. Just going through the CCTV. It's just like he's there.
I like the aspect on that because it's not. But I'm very much like technical, trying to understand structure, but I've never looked at it from an accounting point of view and how you can do that. So that's actually quite insightful on how it can be done because a lot of people won't think of it that way.
I think a lot of people will just go, they just spent too much on the car.
Yeah.
And they just slapped a front wing on.
It was just too expensive.
I don't think I'm 100% certain. When you look at the accounts, Red Bull's accounts, the cost cap is 145 USD. their expense line isn't going to say 155 USD.
Yeah.
It will be a categorization issue. Have you genuinely, this expense that you're saying isn't about the car and doesn't pertain to anything on Red Bull Racing F1 technology, is it really? Or have, like, genuinely, substantively, has this expense been pointed at improving the car? Prove it, Christian, was there? Prove it. We've had our accounts signed off.